Good morning, welcome to Dunrobin Ranch, and thanks for joining us at Days at Dunrobin. I'm Ashley, I'm the assistant ranch manager this year, and this little segment we're gonna have is called This Week at Dunrobin. So I'm gonna get some horses ready for our ride this morning while I talk you guys through what we're expecting to go on this week. It's been really busy so far this summer, but this week and the weeks after this are kind of calming down a little bit. So we've got a 6-person ride going out this morning, so we're gonna get 8 horses ready whenever we have a 6-person ride, especially with little kids. We have a guide and then a drag rider at the very end. So I'm gonna be guiding it, and then Cherie here is gonna be dragging it on Butte. So we're gonna start grabbing some horses. Looks like she's going to get Whiskey. And then I will go ahead and grab his neighbor, Rocket. So what do we have going on this week? This week we have, tomorrow we've got some chores going on over in the winter pasture. We're gonna be getting it ready for our next hay delivery. So Cherie and James are gonna go over there with the ranch truck and try and do something with all that old hay. It was moldy at one point in time, but I think with the hot sun, and it's been sitting out there since January, February, March, I think it'll be okay. We're gonna avoid anything that's obviously moldy, but we should be able to spread the hay around, just like throughout the grass in there. Let it kind of just decompose over the next few weeks, and then we'll put the horses over there in a month. So they shouldn't have access to too much of it. But it's that option, or composting in the garden, which is also an option, but it's not gonna break down in enough time to actually like do anything. And then they'll just have to move it again in the spring when they wanna plant stuff over there. So that would be an option, I would think, if they wanted to kill the weeds. You just put a bunch of hay and a bunch of composted manure on it, and it'll probably get hot enough over the winter to kill all the weeds. And then what else is going on this week? We thought we were gonna be short on rides, but we ended up getting rides booked for both Thursday and Friday, which is awesome. So Corey, our new guide, and the guy that you met yesterday, she was decorating the donkeys with me, will be taking out some of the rides with me. Miss Anya, unfortunately, did sprain her foot over the weekend, so she is out with an injury. So it's gonna be me and Corey taking all the rides out, which thankfully we hired Corey just in the nick of time. Otherwise, if it was just Anya out and just me taking out the rides, we'd be losing some business. Back up. So this is what we do with all of our horses before we get ready for a ride. We always ask them to walk forward, walk backwards, stop, turn in a circle, and turn their heads. And this just gives us a full body check over, make sure that they're feeling okay, make sure all their feet, eyes, ears, everything's working. Looks like Mr. Rocket here is very upset I took him away from breakfast. You got itchies? Looks like he's gonna itch his side over here. Hi, mister. Hi. So to get him to turn in a circle, I'm gonna let him itch first. I always think it's so funny when they go for like the back leg itch and then they've got their leg all hiked up towards their ears. It's hilarious. Augie does it a lot. You're so very itchy. What's that? It looks like you got a bug bite. Uh-oh. He's got a big old mosquito bite on that side. So I always start on the left side just so it's consistent. I'm gonna kind of pull his head towards me, and I'm gonna tap on his flank. I'm gonna ask him to move away from me by applying pressure. Good boy, and I'm looking for his back legs to cross over. He's kind of a fat man, so they don't always cross over. Good boy. Good boy, lots of praise. Yes, hi, Rocket. Hi, mister. Rocket's usually kind of off in his own little world, doing whatever Rocket wants to do. He's been grazing a lot on our trail rides, so I made the decision yesterday to have the staff start feeding hay again in the mornings because our grass pastures are just not long enough. Hi. Oh, hi. We did end up adding a second water trough to the pasture over there to the east because that 100-gallon trough was empty by like Sunday afternoon when Anya had filled it up in the morning. So they decided, or Suzanne and I decided to add an extra one. So they went over to the winter pasture yesterday to grab that other 100-gallon trough. Mister. Can we turn in a circle? Thank you. Good morning. Hi. I didn't want to go to work today. Yeah, we're expecting some hot temperatures this week, so it's a good thing we added some extra water. And then they do have the automatic water in the center pasture, so we can move the 100-gallon between the east side and the center. And then once they're over here on the west side, which they will be the rest of this week, we'll have the sorting pen water trough, we'll have the automatic one, and we might throw in the other 100-gallon one out there just in case. It's gonna be really toasty the rest of this week. And then as far as the smoke goes, it's usually worse in the mornings because all of the cold air kind of settles down to the valley. But as it warms up throughout the day, the heat rises, brings the smoke up to the sky with it. So we've still been taking rides out, and we're expecting to continue taking rides out. The air quality here is between moderate and kind of unhealthy. So we're just keeping an eye on it. If it gets really, really bad, like it is farther south in the valley where I live, we'll end up having to stop taking rides. So hopefully that doesn't happen. So getting Rocket brushed down with a body brush. So we ended up switching some saddles around on some of these horses. We're trying to find the best fitting one so that way they're the most comfortable. And the saddle that Mr. Garnet had on was way too long for him. So horses with a shorter back, you don't want your saddle to sit all the way back here. Ideally, you want it to stop right about at their last rib. And Garnet's saddle was going way back here, and he's getting saddle sores, kind of like rubbing the hair off on his back right here. So we tried him with a shorter saddle, and it ended up working great, so we switched him to that one. And then Rocket's saddle would always leave dry spots here. And when you want a saddle to fit a horse after they've exercised, you want to see a nice big sweat mark where the entire saddle is making contact with their back, and his just wasn't. So I thought, him and Garnet have pretty similar body shapes. They're both very round. Why not try Mr. Garnet's saddle on Rocket? And so I did yesterday, and it ended up working better. So yesterday after the ride, he had a big old sweat mark all the way up here. Came down completely, make sure that the saddle was making full contact with his back. And it seems like it's a much better option for him. And it's a bigger saddle. We usually have bigger people on Rocket, so it's got a bigger seat on it, much more comfortable for them. And then this Friday, we do have a memorial service in the afternoon. A family is going to be utilizing our dance hall and our lawns and the bench and everything like that. So we just ask that you guys give them some privacy. Don't turn the cameras around and zoom in on them or look at them or anything like that. We can check in periodically, but we don't want to be invading their personal space. So I'm going to come in here and grab Rocket's pad and saddle. Uh-oh. So he gets this cute orange pad. It looks so good on him. I think orange is his color. So I want my saddle pad to be sitting right up here in his withers and leave some space so that way the front of the saddle has a little bit of pad sticking out of it. And forget lifting sprinklers or hay bales. Throwing a saddle on a horse's back is the true Dunrobin workout. And doing it 8 times in a row is great. So this saddle's a little bit wide in the tree, which is this first part up here. And so it was sitting down a little too low at first. So I ended up adding some felt padding in here, some shims. And that way it would fit better on his shoulders. All right, so we're always going to do our cinch first. So drop it down on that side. I can get this left stirrup out of my way here. And I always come around just to check. Sometimes they get tangled. Looks like everything's straight on this side over here. I'm going to reach down under this big old belly and then bring the cinch over to my side. So that way I can belt it up with this latigo. And we do have, this one's a bit short for him. It was a little short for Garnet too. It just ends up being really, really tight, which is probably better because we don't want the saddle sliding around while we're riding. but it's a bit of a squeeze on Mr. Rocket's big old belly. So we're gonna leave it like that for a minute. Take my stirrup down, and then I'm gonna bring my breast collar around. This just basically acts as a stopper, so that way the saddle doesn't slide backwards off his back while we're riding, especially up the little hills that we go up and down. And you don't want it to be so tight that it's already constricting their movement. You want it nice and loose like that, so that way as they move around, as they go up and down hills, they'll have plenty of room to adjust. And then I'll have to grab a horn bag and some check reins. So we use the check reins, which are these blue or red reins that you'll usually see on the horses, as a feeble attempt to get them to stop eating the grass. Doesn't always work. You can see by the size of this man's that he still gets plenty of grass. Hi. I'm gonna hook it onto his halter here. Into this other side. You're so very cute. Did you know that? Did you know how cute you are? And then I'm gonna go ahead and grab his bridle and just set it on the horn of his saddle, and then this guy is ready to go. Where are you going? Where are you going, mister? You're gonna eat your rope. Is that what's happening? So we have an 8-year-old and an 11-year-old going, and I don't think we can use Dugan with the smoke. So yeah, so Dugan's got a bit of an asthma, heaves kind of issue. So we've been trying to minimize dust. We've been soaking his hay so he doesn't eat dust or ingest it if he doesn't need to. So we're gonna give him some time off. That way he doesn't have to try to breathe through all the smoke. So usually our backup horse for, Dugan is our main horse for kids, and our backup horse for kids is Jasper. And we'll probably put the sibling on Garnet, or a parent on Garnet. It's usually how we do it with kids, because Garnet and Jasper just follow one another. Usually we'll put a mom on Garnet, and then we'll put the kid on Jasper, so that way Jasper just follows the mom on Garnet. Let's see, who else are we gonna grab? We're gonna grab a Raz, Mr. Razzie Doodle. You guys will remember last year, I rode Raz a lot over the summer, and we became really good buddies. And he has just impressed me so much this summer. We weren't using him at the beginning because he had some arthritis issues in his hocks, his little knees back here. But we've got him on some daily medication for it. He seems he's doing a lot better. He's put on quite a bit of muscle. I'm very impressed with his hindquarters back here. All solid muscle back there. Lots of muscle in his shoulders. Hi, mister. You got some eye boogers. Hi. I'm so sorry to take you away from breakfast. I know. I would be upset too. Yeah, we were starting out the summer great with the pastures, and then now we are just out of grass in them. So we've been giving them a bale of hay in the evenings. And then we were feeding them hay after our first ride when they had grass out there, but now that there isn't any, we need to feed them hay in the mornings to keep their digestive systems with something in it. Otherwise, once we get down to the bottom of the hill for our trail ride, they all just go into the grass. Like, there's no pulling them away from that tall grass. You got lots of eye boogies. What's going on? So Cherie's getting Mr. Monty ready. We're hoping to only use him sparingly this summer, but because of Dugan's cough, we have to switch out between him and Dugan. So we try to just use him at least once a day. But it also keeps him in shape, keeps him limber. Hi. So we're gonna do the same thing for Mr. Raz. We have been very, very busy this summer. If you guys haven't been able to tell from watching all the activity going on the camera, we've usually got 2 rides going out a day, sometimes 2 6-person rides, which can be a lot. Thankfully, we've had both me and Anya as guides, so she doesn't have to be in the saddle for 5-6 hours a day. We've got all of our trail clearing done. James went over across the river last week to go clear out the rest of our trails. There's still some spots in the meadow that have some tree branches kind of in the way, but I always tell people it wouldn't be a Montana trail ride if you didn't get attacked by nature. So I think we're gonna leave those branches there for the meantime. And there's one last log to step over, which I like having at least one obstacle for people to go over. Before we were riding through that forest, it was like 5 or 6 logs that we had to step over. And Chinook is dramatic and likes to jump over them. So I'm glad those are cut down. Raz was another one that we switched saddles for. Cherie ended up really liking Raz's saddle that I used to use on him. Saddle number 6. And that one fits Butte really well. So we switched that to his. And then we switched Raz to one of these Fred Hook saddles, which I'm a big fan of. Super, super comfortable, nice deep seat. Hi, mister. So pad on the back. I want it covering his withers up here, and I want to feel that shoulder muscle underneath the pad. That way I know where I'm putting my saddle. I'm going to grab it underneath the pommel and the back of it and swing it on over. And stuff gets tangled sometimes, that's okay. So we keep everything attached and fitted for each individual horse over here on the right side because we have a saddle for each horse. We don't have to switch them around. So I just make sure nothing's tangled. Make sure everything's sitting back far enough. With a Tennessee walking horse especially, you want to make sure that that saddle is off of their shoulders because they're front wheel drive horses. They have all their power coming from the front end, so we like to make sure that they have lots of free movement. Okay, I'm not gonna squeeze him all the way just yet, just enough to get my saddle in place. And I'm gonna ask him to move his butt. So I'm gonna tap his flank. Thank you. You're kind of in a bad spot, yeah. Yeah, put your butt in the camera. Everyone wants to see that. Alrighty. And on most of our equipment, we have just clips on the side that we're gonna attach it to. So on the left side, we'll have a clip and it just clips right onto the saddle. That way we don't have to adjust every single time or rebuckle it. And then last clip down there. So I'll grab my saddlebag, my check reins, and my bridle. And it's the same process for each horse. So we've gotten it really, really narrowed down, turned it into almost like a formula. And bridle, Raz. Raz is an absolute sweetheart for all the guests. We always tell people he's very gentle in the mouth. You don't have to pull a lot. He's good about following directions, following the horse in front of him. He's somewhat good about not grazing a lot, but he will take the opportunity if he can because he's a horse. So we put check reins on him just in case. Jasper, your shoe? Yes, Jasper's shoes got fixed. Jasper threw a shoe on Sunday. That's why we do the pre-ride check. Yes, that's why we do the pre-ride checks. We check their feet, make sure everything's okay, make sure everything's still attached, and his shoe was not. So we left Jasper out for the last few rides Monday morning, and then Calvin, our farrier, ended up coming back to reshoe him. And we do have boots that they can wear called easy boots that you kind of strap onto their feet. But we figured since it's going to be such a quick turnaround and it didn't happen on the trail, we might as well just let him have the morning off and just get it fixed. So that's what we did. All right, so she went to go get Jasper. I'm gonna get Garnet, our bestest of best friends. This always goes by so much quicker when there's two people getting horses ready. Like what time is it now? Probably 8:20, almost 8:30. Yeah, and then we'll get our horses ready. And our guests usually show up 10, 15 minutes beforehand. So once our guests arrive, we will have them fill out their liability paperwork that we have to have on hand. We'll finish up their payments in the office. I usually like to check in with people and just see kind of like what their riding experience is, what their background with horses is. Some people we take out are brand new, very, very first time riding a horse. And so this is their first experience getting to be on one, getting to touch one, getting to sit on one. So it's a very unique opportunity that we have to kind of have people, you know, introduced to horses for the very first time. And then we have people that have lots of experience. Like I had these few ladies last week on Friday. This woman, she actually lives up the road here, and she has horses, but she doesn't have enough to go trail riding. And so she brought her stepdaughter with her who's considering moving to Montana, wanting a horse, all that kind of stuff. So I had a lesson with this woman, Courtney. You guys met her last Monday during our first broadcast. Hi, mister. I'm gonna ask Garnet to turn around in a circle here. Oh, good boy. Garnet is so good at doing this. Whoa. And he knows to turn his head. He is. Good stretch. Do some yoga. No, don't eat my microphone. No. I was worried having the string on the outside would get caught on something. I didn't think a horse would eat it. Ooh. Thank you. Don't just look at me. You gotta move your butt. Whoa, good boy. Oh, you just want to turn your head, huh? You like the yoga stretches? Yes. I like yoga. What a good boy. I had a woman on him earlier this week, and she apparently was a yoga instructor. It was that same Friday ride. And Garnet did we got her on his back. He did a full downward dog with her on his back and then got back up. So I was like, your horse is doing yoga. She thought it was so cool. That's the first time I've seen one of them do that with someone on their back. I've seen them do it at the rail. Let's go, mister. So we've been keeping Garnet's sunglasses on to protect him from the sun and also now from the smoke. And I'm gonna go ahead and start keeping Chinook's, both of his eye patches on, so he's no longer gonna be a pirate. Back. But that'll keep their eyes from overreacting to the smoke and the pollutions in the air, which is what causes moon blindness. And I realized that talking to you guys, I think I forgot to do Raz's check. So we're gonna do that real quick. Hey, mister. Coming to get you again because I forgot something. You got eye bugs in your eye now. I have to go get a towel. Come on. Good boy. Yeah. Raz and Monty are usually pretty stiff in the morning because they're old guys. We have Raz and Monty on a joint supplement, and then Raz also gets a daily NSAID for inflammation, for the arthritis in his legs. He's extra stiff today. Whoa. Oh, so stiff, so sore. Usually once we get going down on the trail, I loosen up a little bit. Yeah. I'm just an old man. I got stiff bones. Can you turn your head for me again? Yeah. Oh, that's so good for you. Yes, sir. Yes, thank you. Whoa. Back. Back. Good boy. We do the same thing over here. Move this butt. Can you move this butt? Atta boy. Good boy. Oh, so stiff. Oh, so stiff. Good boy. Thank you. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go park you back in the old man corner. Whiskey, as you can imagine, has been ornery for every single ride that we have. It never stops. He's always trying to attack other horses. Garnet, how did you get right there? What are you doing? It's not a great spot. Interesting choice, my friend. Garnet has these super cute little white socks on his back feet, and then his back left one has a brown spot on his white sock. It's so cute.
I put some antiseptic on his side.
Cool, thank you. Garnet's is looking better today.
It's the other side.
Oh, there's some on here too, little scars. Yeah, antiseptic. They get little cinch sores, little saddle sores. I'm thinking while Anya is not able to do a lot of walking around, have her kind of like clean out the cinches, clean out the saddles, clean out the tack room, stuff she can do while sitting down, but still get hours that we need stuff done for. So I think she would enjoy doing that. Condition the leather. We needs it. Don't worry, Anya, I've got you, in case you're watching this. Is that a shinner? Yeah. Okay. Time for Mr. Garnet's saddle. We're using new number 11 on him. So same thing as Mr. Rocket, the saddle was a little too wide in the tree for him, so I put these little felt, they're called shims, in the pockets in this pad. That way we can make it sit nice and tall up on his shoulders, not rub him anywhere. And you can kind of see back here, I don't know if you can zoom in enough, James, but the old saddle was starting to rub him right here because it was too long for his back. So you'll see the difference between this new one that I put on him. And this saddle stops way back here, which is like the perfect size for him. So I'm happy about this little change. Gonna get his cinch down. And I think our guests are arriving. So once I get Garnet here, I'm gonna sign off with you guys. We can go greet them, check them in. We gotta get our other horses ready. We're almost there. And then this got hooked up wonky. You never want to leave a horse uncinched. You can leave him with the breast collar off, but you don't want to walk away from them without the cinch on because the saddle could fall off and scare somebody, or they could step on it and hurt themselves. So Garnet, we ended up switching him to a Hackamore bridle, which does not have a bit that goes through his mouth. So it's got kind of like just a nose band and then the rest of the head stall. Oh, what happened here? Ooh, I don't like it when people put things away incorrectly. Now his whole entire head stall is broken apart. All right, I am gonna exit stage left here and go greet our guests. Thank you guys for joining me this morning. I hope you enjoyed our little horse chat. What's going on this week at Dunrobin? Hopefully we'll have some more exciting things going on soon. Make sure to check out on Thursday. We have Osprey Talks with Cherie and Suzanne at 2 p.m. Montana time. So that's another broadcast that we got going on this week. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day.